Hanadi Aswad, some of these stories from women are difficult to verify, but they do make for some pretty horrifying reading.
Syria's got a very great history. It's always been known as a Syrian culture that is open-minded to women. We have almost equal rights there. Women now, if you want to know what the concerns of women in Syria, they're very worried with all the minorities about these fundamentalists taking over, and worried about what damage they could do to the status of women.
But there are so, I mean, I know you said, and I acknowledged it, that these stories are difficult to verify, but there are so many of them. There are hundreds of these stories. So when you talk about the sheer numbers here, I mean, why do you continue to question them?
I mean, Syria has never had this happen before. Why now? We are aware that there's a lot of fundamentalists in Syria. We are aware that there are a lot of jihadists. Why not them? Why the government? Why would the government do that to its own people?
All right, let's move on to the issue, the stories of recruitment of women in the Syrian army, those stories that have emerged this week. And I want to put this back to you, Hanadi Aswad. Your opponents of Assad's regime will say that this is an act of desperation. What do you think is behind this?
You mean women joining the force, the army force?
Well, they're saying that basically that they're running out of men, so they have to bring in women now.
Not because they're running out of men. Women have to defend themselves first. I mean, there have been a lot of rapes. It's been recorded there's been a lot of rapes. The woman needs to defend herself. She needs to defend her family. She needs to defend her community. There's nothing wrong with a woman being armed. She's not only been armed to fight. She's been put on some checkpoints to check some veiled women, because we are aware that there's a lot of suicide bombers, and they do cover themselves, whether they're men or women, in veil. So that's a role she was given. She's being given roles to protect some communities. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not that she wanted to do it. She's in a position, the environment there, just there's no choice but to join the men and help to bring in, stabilize the country. We have terrorists in the country. We need to get rid of them.
All right, Hanadi Aswad, regardless of what your view may be on the Syrian National Council, without their participation, what chance is there of bringing an end to the violence?
Well, there has been dialogue. I mean, there has been talks. I do know that there was, they sat on the table, but as far as what we know, what I've read is that they get their orders from America, they get their orders from France. I don't think these people, FSA with that flag, that mandate French flag, they know what's right for Syria. They are told by the French and by the Western and by the NATO whether to sit with the government or not. They are not doing enough. They did not condemn the atrocities. They did not condemn the bombing, the recent bombing in Damascus. If they don't want to. She just said that the UN is not doing enough. Why didn't they condemn the American role in not condemning the bombing in Damascus just recently? We don't see them legitimate. We don't see that they want to help in building Syria. If anything, they are destroying Syria. If they really want to help Syria, they should sit down with the Syrians. We don't need any foreign intervention. If Syria is going to change, it will change with its own people. We don't need any Westerners to help us. We don't need them. If anything, they are destroying Syria right now.
We all eventually have to put all these buildings back together. We have 4,000 schools have been destroyed. Some of them turned into prisons. Where are we going?
By whom?
Go ahead, Hanadi.
By whom? Who destroyed them? Yes, we have now, it's official that America declared that it's arming and funding these terrorists. There are U.S. death squads there in Syria, and she knows that.
I would love to have this conversation
we know
with you.
Israeli weapons have been found with these terrorists. I don't know where you're coming from. You are biased to your group.